happier than the day before. Take a step each day, make it better more and more. Find a little laughter, don't let it pass you by. Fake it till you make it, go ahead and try. Don't waste your energy, look into the past. Write your own fairy tale, make it last. Each night remember one thing that went right. You are capable, shine your own light. Follow your bliss, find what makes you glow. Something special's out there, just so you know. Create your own joy, don't let it go. Follow your bliss, let your heart flow. Step by step you'll see the world transform. Chase the dreams that keep your heart so warm. Don't forget you're stronger more than you believe. You hold the power, endless possibilities. Know that something's out there with your name engraved. In this crazy ride called life, go be brave. Just find what makes you glow. In this world so fast, follow your bliss, make every moment last. Follow your bliss, find what makes you glow. Something special's out there, just so you know. Create your own joy, don't let it go. Follow your bliss, let your heart flow. You'll see the world transform. Chase the dreams that keep your heart so warm. Don't forget you're stronger more than you believe. You hold the power, endless possibilities. Know that something's out there with your name engraved. In this crazy ride called life, go be brave. Just find what makes you glow. In this world so fast, follow your bliss, make every moment last. Follow your bliss, find what makes you glow. Something special's out there, just so you know. Create your own joy, don't let it go. Follow your bliss, let your heart flow. Follow your bliss, let your heart flow.
I love that. That's really sweet. You sent that to me last week. You said someone had written that in honor of the Oracle of Whimsy, I believe. And you said, let's make her famous.
Yeah, I just thought, wow, that just brings me to tears that somebody was inspired by us like that.
It's just so right on target. You know, it's what we have been saying the last few months. Others have been saying this. Just today, I saw a video from Heather Cox Richardson saying, people, we have to be in our joy right now. That's how we're going to survive all of this. We've been saying this for months. I've been saying, find your artistry, find your joy, find your inner peace, your love. And collectively, all of us doing that together, that's going to make the change.
Yeah, it just really moved me. That was Magic Mystery 65, and she put it up 3 months ago. And, you know, I was looking at anybody commenting on the show, so I went to Reddit, and I thought, you know, I'm always looking for feedback, and found that somebody had written that for us.
Oh, well, what a lovely gift.
Yeah.
A lovely gift in more ways than one. I've been okay. It's just been busy. All of the news, it just keeps accelerating. You know, we all know this, but, you know, you and I have to keep up with it to be able to talk about it.
Right. It's another reason to be crying, right?
Yeah. Yes, it is. But I mean, I got up early this morning and just started, you know, looking at the news, watching videos, podcasts, taking notes. And I was doing it right up to a minute before you and I met before the pre-show.
You know, I felt a little guilty about that.
Why?
'Cause I was sending you notes up until, like, almost, like, right before we had gone live
Oh, it's
today because
okay.
it's just such changing. Did you hear that the president gave the middle finger to people?
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
where was it? Where was he? But, someone yelled out to him from the crowd, "You pedophile protector," and Trump said, "F you," and gave the middle finger.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think that is? Do you think that he has just lost control of the I mean, what do you think that
Well,
is?
you know
I
what?
just want your feedback, if
Well,
nothing
people have
else.
been talking about this because with Trump, he's had a history of this kind of behavior for decades. Mary Trump herself says, "My uncle has had mental health issues as far back as she can remember." So
Right.
it's sometimes difficult to tell what is Trump's usual behavior and how much of it has been accelerated because of his dementia.
Right.
So it's obviously a combination of both, but needless to say, that was very unprecedented.
Uh-huh. And do we've talked about I'll run this in just a sec. I'll stop sharing this for half a sec. So how we've talked about the fact that there's kind of like stages to grief.
Yeah,
You know how there's
like
stages.
Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah.
And how in a way where he's grieving a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah, but was it anger, bargaining, denial, grief? I forget the stages, all of them. But yes, that was the footage right there. Trump giving
Yeah.
the finger,
So
but also saying "F you."
right. And it was about what was interesting was that it was about the Epstein. It was about
Oh
Epstein.
yeah, someone yelled out, "You pedophile protector."
Well, I think that he was also called a pedophile and a pedophile.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
of course, yeah. He was
can
not happy
you
about it. That's for
okay,
sure.
so we have to say hi to everybody, and I just want to keep this conversation going, and it's so rude, Chuck. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Hello, everyone. Thank you for
Hello.
being here. Thank you to Joel Tilson, our floor director, who arrived early today with his
Yeah.
questions so that Chuck had a chance to go over those
A
before we went on
little
air.
bit, yes, a little
Oh
bit with
my
Joel.
God, thank
But
you so
thank
much.
you.
I'm Whimsy. This is Chuck. Thanks for being here. Tell us who you are, where you're coming from, what's going on with you. Chuck, can you say hi to some of us?
Well, of course. Well, we've already said hello to our wonderful Joel Tilson. We're both very
Right.
grateful for. Ann Coleman, 6064. Let's see here. Mary Ann, 7166. Anthony Rizzo, the barber. Rockin' Pony Lady. I love that name. Sally Joe, 4267. And 5808. Do I need to read the numbers? I don't know. I'm reading the whole names here. Kitty Light 2008. I hope I'm saying this right. Maitri Prashad 1400. Please pardon me if I didn't say your name correctly, but we're glad to have you here. Debium 7834. Kimberly Canos 5610. Again,
Hello,
sometimes I think I need phonetic breakdowns here because I don't want to offend anyone. Queenie the Genie. Now that's a
we know Queenie. We know the Genie.
FSU 4031.
FSU.
Lisa and Ross 6726. Kylie Adams. Oh, Joyce Petrus.
Hi, Joyce. We need to have you back on once we get the sound taken care of.
She and I had a lovely talk yesterday going over my personal chart. And
well, if we could get her in this month, that would be great before the end of January for the 2026 predictions.
Oh, that would be fabulous, Joyce. We'll be in touch. Well,
maybe this Thursday or next Thursday.
Yeah, we'll test out all of her new equipment and everything and Wi-Fi and stuff. And
sounds awesome.
And never too late to dream. That's always a great man.
So listen, Chuck, how are you doing otherwise? What are you thinking about our book of the month? You want to tell people a little bit about our book of the month club?
Well, I'm still just in the very beginnings of the book. I need to
tell them about the fact that we have a book of the month.
Oh, the fact that we have a book of the month club. Yes. Okay. Yes, we do have a book of the month club at the end of every month or so, approximately. we do an interview with an author of a book that Whimsy has selected, an independently published book. And so far, there have just been some incredible gems.
Haven't they
Every
been
month, we
amazing?
pick a winner. This one in particular, I was commenting last week, is particularly well written, just what I've read thus far. And I'm enjoying it, and I will dig into it further. It's just been such a busy period for me.
Yes, and it's usually after Taco Tuesday, 6 PM. Next week, the 20th, we will have Elizabeth Stevenson in our studios, and she will be reading from the book.
Mhm.
Man, is this book beautiful and well written, and it's a
Yeah.
book that's gonna make you think. You know, our brain protects us from the
Yes.
truth.
Yes.
This is something I think about a lot when I look at this book. So many lies we tell ourselves in order to
Mhm.
survive.
Well, it's like what we were talking about, magical thinking, like Joan Didion's book.
Right, right, yeah, and, that is what it is to become an adult, and I think that that's also what she's saying, the stages of what it is to go from magical girl to, you know, optimistic young woman to broken and bitter to, you know, like all of those stages. The
Mhm.
bitter woman over 40, right? Um, I don't really think it has to be that way though.
Yeah. I
Uh,
keep thinking of I know it's a cliche, but the truth will set you free. Once you're able to face the truth, that's your freedom. That takes the shackles off of you. You're actually liberated.
well, I think it's all, you know, the grief is all, you know, us there is grief in coming to terms with the lies we told ourselves and how
Mhm.
sad it is we had to lie. We had to lie about that partner, that relationship, or we had
Yeah.
to lie about that situation because we, for whatever reason, we were vulnerable and we didn't want to accept the fact that it wasn't what things were not the way they should
Well,
be.
if I may
About our parents, family members, you
Yeah.
know?
If I may say, sometimes we actually go into mourning for the fantasy that we were holding for so long. We're mourning the loss of that, the loss of a dream. It's like that when you're losing a fantasy, but ultimately it's so much healthier. It's so much more freeing when you do that.
Yeah. So, of all the news that's happening right now, Chuck, I guess we can go into it now. Thank you everyone
Mhm.
for being here. If you can like, share, and subscribe to the stream, we are getting real close to 100,000. We're almost at 95,000 right now.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And we reached a milestone of almost 4 million unique views on Facebook last month. So thank you all of
Thank
those of you who are
you. Yeah.
watching. We have Facebook Live right now happening along with YouTube, along with X. So we get well over 4 million views a month for Taco
That's
Tuesdays.
just
And
extraordinary. I'm
Chuck,
so
Chuck and I
excited.
cannot believe the success of the show. And we're just grateful to everyone in
Yeah.
all the streams that are watching right now all over the world. And
Yeah.
right here in my home with me. Okay, listen, Chuck. So, how are you feeling? You know, we've talked about everything that's going on. Number one issues right now: Iran regime is falling.
Mhm.
Our floor director's been watching that really closely. Say hi to Joel Tilson. Everyone who hasn't had a chance to do so, he officially became the floor director. Gosh, about 2.5, 3 years ago, I think it was, and he does a great job prepping questions from you all to us often an hour before the show starts. But can we talk a little bit about this?
Mhm.
Can we talk a little bit about this? What do you
Should
think
we
about this?
should we read this out loud? The
Yeah,
question?
please go ahead. Please go
Okay.
ahead.
Will Iran's regime forces be attacked by American or Israeli forces? It's certainly being threatened. I know Trump is certainly threatening it. He was talking about it today. Like there's talk of one of the protesters being executed tomorrow, and I think he said if that goes through, we will be attacking from the air. He's already said that. And certainly Israel, I could see it going
Mhm.
in that direction.
The other thing that we wanted to mention that I don't see Joel mentioning it, but we can go ahead and talk a little bit about the fact that Putin is missing.
Yes. Yes.
Putin appears to be missing. Evidently, uh, the Christmas lighting of the candles for the Great Mass. They say it might have been old film footage.
That's not impossible. It's that sort of thing has been done before, or they've had doubles. You can do very clever things with prosthetic makeup photograph from a distance, AI, could have even been AI manipulated footage.
Do you think, looking at everything that's happening, that we're seeing the end of the Iranian regime, the end of Putin's regime? I mean,
Oh, yes. We've been seeing that. We've been seeing that in the readings, for
Mhm.
the last 2-3 weeks. And as you were pointing out, from your Grok piece, was that number 4 on there?
Yeah, so one of the things that I decided to do, I don't know if I have it on this particular, well, maybe I do, but I was trying to determine least amount of death, and I did a remote view about 2.5 years ago. It was after the October 7th massacres in Israel, and I came up with what was the first 3 phases, and then I added an additional 2 phases, and then I ran it through supercomputers, and the supercomputers agreed with me on those 5 phases. And then December 21st, 2025, those 5 phases were sent to the Israeli Defense Forces, the State Department, Joe Biden, and Joe Biden adopted the first 3. So I'm sorry. Well, we had a computer die on us.
Oh, yes.
So I'm having a
Yes, it
little
was
hard.
an interesting day, but we won't go there.
Right. So, so I'm having a real hard time finding it. I should have probably transferred it to
But
this site. But
but
yeah,
I
that was the 5 phases. So
yeah.
phase 4 was the fall of Putin.
Yeah, and what was amazing to me when you did that in 2023, how prophetic it turned out to be, and it wasn't even factoring another Trump presidency at that point. And I think you said
Yeah, no.
even with an adjustment for that, it does not change. Not much, nothing significant anyway. That surprised me.
Right, that was kind of interesting because when we did the information and we took a look at it, and then I gave you copies, and then you said, "Well, can you go back and take a look at whether or not it matters that now we have are the phases going to change?" And the only thing that Grok said is they should start the rebuild, and not be dependent on Hamas for the rebuild. They should just do the rebuild. And yesterday, Hamas, was it 2 days ago? Hamas agreed to basically quit.
Was it 2 days ago?
So, yeah,
Yeah.
goodbye to them. So, that opened the way for phase 2. Yeah, and that was the end of it. So that was kind of interesting. And then phase 3 was that we would see the fall of Putin. Phase 4, excuse me, is the fall of Putin. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is just fascinating. And also, Whimsy, you have all of your past predictions documented, your videos. Sometimes you do that
Yeah, I
when
do
you
that
do your other
deliberately.
shows, and I'm glad you do that, but you were just right on target in your predictions.
If you don't do that, one of the things, I teach remote viewing, and one of the things I teach in my classes is that if it doesn't really matter if you're tired, at the very least, put it in a just
A
just
video, even on your phone or
something.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, something. Otherwise, you're
against
not
the
going to
water.
be able to. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not able to find this tonight. People have been asking if we can show them the phases. I have so much documentation, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, I'm not able to show that tonight. But
I think even on your Sunday show, didn't you show one of your older videos? I may have the day wrong, but you've shown it enough times to prove that
So
you predicted.
people should just understand that there's a science to all of this. And
Yeah. Now, Whimsy, in what respect do you mean a science? Because I think of it more of as an art. I'd love
my
to hear
question, how this got started was that I'm having a problem here with this thing. How this got started was that I was trying to figure out the way to keep people alive.
Yeah.
And
I see what you're saying. Okay. I was
Yeah.
thinking more in terms of remote viewing. You're talking about the actual data that you put into Grok, the questions you asked.
Right.
Yeah.
So that
Right, that
was
is more scientific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. And as a result of that, the result was the 5 phases. But I don't think that we could have avoided this. But what was interesting, and I think that the interesting thing for me is the fact that it wasn't something that could be avoided.
Yeah, this
I think that that's the
definitely
takeaway.
has proven that it was inevitable.
Oh, that's
We're
why.
just on the path toward this. But,
Oh, I noticed I had 2 things open at once.
I'm wondering, because it still surprises me that the Trump presidency did not change this very much. And I'm wondering if even Grok was factoring in that Trump was going to become basically a lame duck across the world, not just America. I think most world leaders know this. They know Trump has lost his marbles. They know that he's losing his power rapidly. So maybe Grok was factoring that in when you did a revision.
I don't think so, because it wasn't the parameters of the questions that were asked. The parameters of the question was, how do we keep people from dying? And so it was just
I see.
the phases that would be required for people not to die. And I found it. Thank you guys for your patience, by the way. But so this is an example of how you can bring in a remote viewer who can give you a 360-degree look at something as a remote viewer, and then they'll collect their data and then submit it. So this data was submitted to the IDF September 20th, 2023. And they followed it beautifully. So we got to the ceasefire. We had the exchange of hostages and Hamas prisoners. And then Hamas has to go to a host country. So Hamas has agreed to step down. That happened 3 days ago. And then Netanyahu and Bibi announced the rebuild. And now we have Putin in hiding, which is phase 4, which is Putin arrested and tried in The Hague sooner rather than later. And there was movement on that front the last couple of days. There's been pressure on the Russian government to put hands on him and bring him to trial.
Yeah.
And this is because of the bombings in Kyiv, where he's bombing civilian populations. This was kind of like the pressure now to get him. So we're very close now to phase 4 with the arrest of Putin. I never thought that was going to happen. So he's gone underground. He's gone into hiding.
Yeah.
The BBC and Times Radio and everyone is talking about is, where has he gone to? Well, he knows phase 4. And then you have phase 5 is that it was predicted that Iranian leadership could fall after that, because but what they did is they took out Iran's proxy armies, and they also took out Assad first. So they started dismantling Iranian leadership one ally at a time. His final ally will be Putin. And now Trump is saying that Trump is talking now about hitting Iran, or he could just surrender and go to Moscow and avoid getting attacked from U.S. bombs.
Yeah. I mean, Trump is such a live wire. You can't really take stock in anything he says. His mind is all over the place. But like today, he was saying he was going to drop bombs on Iran if they proceed with that execution.
Not up to him.
I know, but Trump's
none of this
mentality.
You see the data from 2 years ago. Do you see the data? Am I hallucinating here? I'm a very rational person. Thank you. In my quirky sort of way. So this was the data 2 years ago. And I'm happy to share my data. If they had disagreed, they would have done it differently. And so it's very obvious to me that it's really not up to Trump.
Oh, no. But I mean, in his mind.
Right.
He thinks that. But no, obviously, it's not up to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's do some blitzes. Would you like to do some blitzes? Did you have something else you wanted to add, by the way?
I was going to say, it was also in the news today that Pete Hegseth said that Elon Musk's Grok AI is going to be used in the Pentagon now. And I'm trying to remember, you predicted that, didn't you?
Yeah, I was using the same Colossus computer, but here's the thing. I had access to a lot of the same stuff as the Pentagon and everybody else, because I had open access to Colossus, and I was asking the same questions that 8200 was asking.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also remote viewing and saying, well, it looks from a remote viewer's
Mm-hmm.
perspective like you're going to be receiving heat from that area, so you probably should move that vehicle. And and then I would go back and I would use the Colossus. So I became rather dangerous. And so now they're using the same computer. So everybody's using Colossus, and Colossus is the computer that the personality grok but what has happened is now they're starting to control what we can get. They're starting to, well, the little people don't need to have full access to Colossus. So I had access to Colossus before all these controls came in. And you can be sure that they're going to start controlling AI. Control the AI. So I had Colossus before all of that. Was like this brilliant Colossus computer with no guardrails. So I was like 3:42 in the morning.
The kid in the candy store.
Viewing, 72 hours without decent sleep.
You sound like me in college.
Yeah, that was where this. I see the fifth phase, like, and setting it off. And I'm still able to walk around talking about that. That's the danger of supercomputers and remote viewing when it's combined. And so shockingly accurate. Grok did a great job, and I think I did a good job.
Good way of describing it. Going down the rabbit hole,
Well, I think that Putin's hiding for obvious reasons. I mean,
yeah, of course he is. Well, we kept getting all those readings that ultimately he was going to end up in his palace in Siberia,
which he claimed got bombed.
Yes, he claimed the Ukrainians had bombed it, but who knows where he is now? He might be in a bunker somewhere in Moscow. Who knows?
God, don't go to Moscow. Don't you think, given everything we know, that Moscow would be the last place in the world you'd want to go?
He'd have to have a damn good bunker, like 20 stories underground or something.
Let's try and find out. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do the empath's prayer. If you'd like to receive a healing at this time, go ahead and give us your name or the name of the person that you'd like us to pray for, and we can include them in our prayers tonight. So much fun. So good to see all of you today. Thank you for being here with us, Chuck. And thank you, Joel. Thank you, everyone who's here. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community. Excuse me, as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say Amen. And for those people who are requesting a healing at this time, we come together at this time and we pray. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And again, together we say Amen, Amen, Amen. May all souls be healed.
May all souls be healed.
May all souls be healed. Well, let's do this thing. I'm excited. We're going to blitz the way, give Chuck and I the order, and we will let the party get started. I'm excited about 2026. What about you, Chuck?
I'm very excited about this year. I hit the ground running personally. When you told me it was the fire horse year, I have been getting so much accomplished, and you have too. And other people I talk to, it's like we're all on collective fire right now.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm
loving this year. Shall I read this?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it dawns on me, I don't have my tarot cards here.
Oh, no. You're like me when I look over here.
I'm always a stickler, too. I'm like, make sure you've got everything there before we go live.
Physician, heal thyself. No, you're always telling me, Chuck, do you have all your props there? But anyway, the question, Whimsy, should I wait or go ahead and read this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, will Iran's regime forces be attacked by American or Israeli forces? I think we just
Yeah, throw a card. Throw 1 or 2 cards on it. Let's see.
Yeah.
All
Perhaps
right, I can go
not in a good
first.
place. Well, actually, what mine is more general. So you always are more specific with your tarot. Maybe I should just do this real quick here.
Okay.
I got the Solitude card, which means Iran is increasingly isolated. They're alone in this, and all around them is shame, despair, loss, suffering, and also a lot of restrictions are happening. So I just, without taking it further, it's not looking good for Iran, but I don't have specifics about America and Israel attacking. So that's why I wanted you to go after me.
It feels to me like the Trump administration is going to make the same mistake that Obama made. How much you're going to pay us not to bomb you, right? So thinking the same mistake in the sense that we think we can make an economic deal with psychopaths, right? It's just not going to happen. So you have this withholding, right? It's also an economic foolish behavior, hopes and fears to the defense, and then money, 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 money. So, my gut instinct tells me that he will flee to Moscow.
Yeah.
And that it won't get to that point. And Moscow's the worst place if you look at the phases. Like, are you out of your mind? If they're all being converged to I mean, that's where Assad, they're all being driven there. And then that's where they're coming for Putin. So it's just like, what a horrible decision to go there. But because Russia's collapsing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, we've even had visions in past weeks and months about drone attacks, armies marching in, America marching into Moscow. Even
very scary. It's a very scary time. I'll tell you honestly, as a remote viewer and somebody that was kind of like meditated and saw the phases, I have to say that I think this phase 4, phase 5 is a very, very vulnerable time because Putin is firing HIMARS missiles at Kyiv, which can be loaded with nuclear weapons. He can fire them on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. He's got nothing to lose. He is a man who believes he has nothing to lose. He's got nuclear weapons. He is a dangerous person right now.
Almost like a kamikaze. Nothing to lose. He's just going to go the distance. Right. And I'm even thinking about all of those old nuclear missiles and silos that have been sitting there for decades. Could even set those off.
It's just very dangerous.
It is.
The dirty bomb scenario is the one with the highest risk, and that is simply that they bomb Zaporizhzhia, which is the largest nuclear power plant practically in Europe. And if you were to hit that, but you would destroy, there would no longer be Ukraine, but the entire world would be hit by so much fallout as it went up into the North Pole and came back down again.
Oh, yeah. Once all of that nuclear fallout radioactivity gets into the weather system and starts circulating around the globe, we've all lost.
Right. And the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is owned by Russia inside Zaporizhzhia, Ukraine. So you have the Russians in control of this monster, this beast. And that is really what's terrifying people, is that if it's going to happen, if he's afraid of using his own nukes, a guy who has nothing to lose could do anything. I mean, you look at what Saddam Hussein did before he fell.
Right.
Where he just started blowing up stuff, blowing up the gas, the pipelines, and just
I agree.
Crazy stuff.
Intuitively, I've had those concerns about Trump as he reaches the end and he gets increasingly desperate and erratic. But my intuition also tells me there are enough people around him who are going to prevent catastrophes like that. They're on guard. They're watching him right now. But I've thought about Trump in the same way.
What about Putin? Do you feel like Putin has those guardrails? Because I don't.
I don't.
So.
No, I don't get that feeling that Putin does have the guardrails. You're absolutely correct. But I do sense that about Trump. There are enough people watching him now. They know he's too much of a loose cannon right now as he gets crazier. But I just get a hit that he's going to get increasingly desperate. And, and when people get desperate, they lash out. And he does have the access to the nuclear codes and so forth. But I think there are people who will stop him. I heard there were people who stopped him in the first administration. He wanted to do some, shall we say, some creative bombing and, with the nukes and stuff. And people just did not carry out his orders.
I think he's insane. Like he also posted on Truth Social, I think it was, a picture of himself on top of the roof. And they were talking about him putting up stuff for nuclear weapons, like to protect from nuclear weapons. And he's like, it's on, and a picture of himself on the roof. What's on? What are you doing on the roof? I mean, like what? A final battle between you and Putin? I mean, like, what is this? What is on? What is happening? So, and this latest thing where he gave a finger to somebody, that's not someone who's in control right now.
No. And then I think there was video of him, or people were giving accounts of how he looks out the window of the Oval Office and he's having the delusion that he's looking at the ballroom that he's planning and he's going to build. Oh, isn't it wonderful? People can tell he's out of his mind. He's in a zone. And also it's been pointed out that when we see clips of him on television, we're seeing Trump at his best. We're not seeing him all the other times, when they're trying to medicate him and control him and just to keep him out of trouble. That's one of the reasons they gave him all these decorating projects, just anything to put his mind elsewhere.
Now, didn't he walk away from a major meeting with ExxonMobil to go gaze out the window and
that's what it was?
Garden?
Yes.
Isn't it beautiful?
And he was looking at the window and imagining the ballroom. At least someone was claiming that's what he was doing. He was delusional. Maybe that was someone's account. That wasn't actually what was happening, but he was looking out the window and rambling. You could see he was just not in his mind.
And I can't imagine it would be all that nice in the middle of January. There aren't any roses. It's just a bunch of, they look like dead trees in the winter. The rose is one of the most unattractive plants in winter.
Well,
it's not an evergreen. It's not evergreen. It's not.
Yeah. But I was going to say, didn't he bulldoze over the rose garden and all of that? He had he had paved over it. And then I could be wrong on this, but I think when he tore down the whole east wing of the White House, he took the rose garden with it.
Yeah, that would make sense, actually.
Nothing there. Yeah, so that's what he was looking at, imagining this grandiose ballroom that's like 4 times the size of the White House. And of course, the original architect, I think, resigned, said, Mr. President, this is not even a functional design we have here. We can't build this. And of course, Trump claimed he fired him. And now Trump's saying he wants to add a second level to the West Wing. I don't think any of this is going to happen. Also, there's that arc he wants to build in Washington.
Well, they have talked about extending the White House. That's actually been a major problem because it was quaint in 1865, but now there's over 300 million people here, and there are. Originally, the founders wanted everyone to be able to visit the White House and come to visit, and that means that and they've had to curb and control public visits. So it might be nice if they created something like that.
A lot of it has been antiquated. Like I don't have the exact date, but I think the East Wing was built in the early 1900s, approximately. And I remember you did a viewing of the archives.
Yeah, I did a remote view and I wound up underground, where the cement is down, and I found all these old filing cabinets from like
World War II, pre-World War II filing cabinets and things. So my point,
they look like Navy from like Gomer Pyle, filing, those types of things.
But very antiquated, not for now. So there was a legitimate need to maybe tear it down just so they could build more sophisticated underground bunkers and so forth, and computer rooms and things for the modern age. Maybe there was some legitimacy there. Yeah. But the West Wing, I'm not sure when that was added onto the White House. But you're right.
Was it in the 40s and 50s?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was before that.
Oh,
But I
really?
could be wrong on
The East
that.
Wing, really?
But I think it was before then.
Wasn't it Truman? No, maybe not.
I thought the West Wing was there during
Oh,
Roosevelt.
I'm talking about the East Wing.
Well, okay. Oh, I thought you were talking about the West, but no, the East Wing was built in sometime during the early 1900s.
Really? That soon, the East Wing?
Yes.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. All right. 6 Minnesota Fed prosecutors have resigned today due to, so interesting. You and I were talking about this earlier. Will Minnesota Governor Walz call the state National Guard to stop ICE and remove them? How are you feeling about this?
I wish he would, but whether he will go through with that, we might have to pull some cards on that.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I want to ask Pendulum also. Governor Walz.
Those scary Minnesotans. They're bringing in ice for those scary Minnesotans with their ice fishing, you know.
Good accent.
You know, the Minnesota.
The National Guard. Let's see here.
They've got their ice fishing and their casseroles. I just don't think of Minnesota as being a particularly spooky place. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know.
Nice people in Minnesota.
Very nice.
Well, I can tell you what I was getting. I wasn't getting a definite answer. I was getting, it's where the pendulum goes to that maybe area between yes and no, like it's still being decided. And then when I pulled cards, I got, Tim Walz, of course, is very much about the community, the people. He's thinking of that, the humanity of this. He very much wants the truth to come forward, but he knows right now, and I think this is where my maybe was coming in, he knows there's a lot of risk involved here. It's calling in the National Guard. This could set off an even bigger firestorm. So it's a lot to evaluate, a lot of risk. And ultimately what I got is some type of compromise. So I think that's why I'm getting like that maybe on the pendulum. So what do you have, Whimsy?
I think you're right, as usual. And I think that what I feel is pressure on the GOP that if they hope to have any kind of future wins in any elections in the Midwest, they'd better start being nicer to the Minnesotans.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to remember in 2026 what this administration did to them. So you have this evidence against. The Three of Pentacles is a blueprint. If you're talking about building a court case, prosecution, etc., this is a blueprint. It's when you structure or construct something. So you have the case against them, and then the opposition would be the ICE people, law enforcement, Five of Pentacles, out in the cold, shut out. So again, those images. Tim Walz building a case over the prosecution, that construction of something. The opposition is locked out into the cold. The hope and the fear, who's going to win, the Ace of Swords, and the final outcome, out in the cold and in jail, Nine of Wands. They will have to pull back. They will have to get out, or it will be the GOP is in serious trouble.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They don't have time for this.
No. I feel like
2026 is now, folks. You're over. There's no way they can say at this point they're scared they're going to lose the Senate.
Of course they are. Of course. I think the Democrats are poised to take over the House and the Senate. There is so much
5 GOP
outrage right now, and a lot of it has to do with people's individual pocketbooks being affected. That's like the cardinal sin when you hit people's economics, personal economics. When the way, even though they voted to extend the Affordable Care premiums, there were people this month who got hit with massive insurance bills, like something like 22 million people. We can go on and on, the atrocities that have gone on. Oh, will Senator Mark Kelly win his lawsuit against Pete Hegseth? I think he will, assuming this administration even lasts, and even if Pete Hegseth is in office much longer. I think Kristi Noem, her ass is on the line, and I think he's going to be next. That's just kind of what I'm feeling. They're in so much trouble. And we're talking about a beloved hero. He and Gabby Giffords, his wife, they're both two of the most loved, respected people in this country. And you don't mess with people like that. And I think Mark Kelly, I was so glad, and I heard that he's suing over this.
Let's
And
take a look. I'd be curious about this.
yeah, I mean, offhand, I feel he's going to be victorious, but let's see.
A lot of people think that he's going to take the nomination for president by the
Yeah.
Democrats because Harris has said she doesn't want. Harris has been advised by many of her handlers to hold off because she may have a guaranteed AG position with Senator Mark Kelly. And I think that that's totally either she can be AG or she's put on the Supreme Court. So she may hold off on that and let Mark Kelly go, because I'll tell you, she'd do better in AG or in Supreme Court. And she's young enough to do the Supreme Court.
I've always felt that's where her heart really is. She'd much rather be Attorney General or even be on the Supreme Court.
Oh, I think she hinted at it in her book. Everybody read the book?
I haven't read the book.
This system is broken, so she's not going to run for president. But you know what you do when the system is broken? You don't run for president. You become AG, and then you fix the system. You get into the Department of Justice, which she can handle because she already was AG for California, which is the 5th largest economy in the world. And she was looking at organized crime, corruption, not paying your taxes. So I know a lot of people love her and they want to see her as president, but put yourself objectively in this situation. She was born to be that AG. She was prepared for that, to take that. We have a lot of people that need to be hired as prosecutors under a Mark Kelly presidency. That's what I'm thinking. And I think she would be perfect for AG.
Oh, yeah. No, this has nothing to do with the cards I just pulled or anything, but I've been sensing that this is actually going to make Mark Kelly shine all the brighter. He's going to come out of this victorious. I'm feeling that strongly, even without pulling anything. And I was even thinking, wouldn't he and Gabby, President and First Lady, wouldn't they be incredible together?
Yes. Can you imagine her as our First Lady?
They are great.
What they could do to help people who've been victims of gun violence, people who are physically challenged to be given dignity for their life. I mean, there's so many amazing things that both of them could do.
I'm almost getting that vibe, like this is their higher purpose.
This is something good. And I can just see, and I can see Kamala on the Supreme Court, or in the AG with I have arrived.
Like
move over, Jackson.
Move over, Clarence Thomas.
That's right. There's a new kid on
Get
the
your
block.
butt out of my
And
chair.
I see you, Mr. Kavanaugh. Remember my question? I was in the Senate, Mr. Kavanaugh. Okay. Scoot over, babe. You can get your own damn coffee.
Oh.
So I think that she's young enough. She could pull it off.
Of course she could.
Right now is the time of war. This is the war king. So Pete Hegseth is the Department of War. So we have the war king, and the war king is under investigation. So Kelly is investigating a war king. Isn't that interesting that he comes as the war king, the fire king, because that's Mars, that's fire. It's also the sun. So Leo and Aries, and he's the Department of War.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? And then issues of investigations, financial and economic corruption, and Mark Kelly emerges as potential nominee for president. He is the prophesied King of Cups.
I feel it. I
love Buttigieg too, but I'm thinking it's not his time yet. Maybe in 10, 20 years we can bring in Buttigieg when his kids are adults, because right now he's all about family, raising that young family.
Yeah, it could be when they're teenagers, which is not that many years away.
But how noble of Buttigieg to step down and say, my family comes first. And
he's a noble man. I love watching him on YouTube. He is so articulate, so smart, wonderful common sense, decency, humanity. I
enjoyed remote viewing him because he was like, it's my family, and I kind of don't want to be VP because my family is really important to me, and my daughter's having some challenges right now. She's like slow with her speech. He was telling me really private information, and I really just need to focus on her and my husband. And so I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe in 20 years we'll see him.
He's a man of integrity. He's about doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That's what I feel about him. I pretty much said what I felt about Mark Kelly and Pete Hegseth, but I just feel like, I just got, again, the truth card. The truth is going to come out about both of them. And I feel Mark Kelly is just going to shine all the more golden. Pete Hegseth is just going to keep drowning in that vodka in the water cooler he probably has. There's definitely going to be judicial balance here. And, this is what I keep feeling around Mark. I said this before about Mark Kelly, Gabby Giffords partnerships and love. Like there is just such energy. There's like such a momentum of goodness behind them.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I like it.
I like that
Thank you.
too. I like it. It feels good.
Yeah. Is there a discussion about removal of Trump by GOP old party individuals like Pence? I think there is. I think absolutely. What do you think? That's what I remote view all the time.
I was like, no brainer here. It's like, of course, absolutely. I think everybody's talking about this, and we've even been predicting that there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes of how can they dump this guy, and get JD Vance in as quickly as possible, just to save the tattered ruins of the Republican Party. They're going to have any hope of keeping the White House, or I doubt they're going to keep the House and Senate, but they're hoping they can at least hold on to the White House.
They've actually said that they're now beginning to accept that they won't be able to keep the Senate either, because they know they're going to probably lose 3 seats.
Yeah, and
that's tough.
Didn't we?
They're going to be slaughtered.
Yeah, didn't we also pick up that the likelihood is if JD gets in, all he's going to do is finish Trump's term. He will not go on to another term of his own, in all likelihood.
Here is what I feel as just remote viewing it. I feel that one of the things I try to do, and people argue with me because they don't understand that I'm a professional empath, so I will be whoever you ask me to be. People hire me as a psychic spy. That's my job, is to tell you who I am as the other. That is Vajrayana Buddhism, with compassion, is that you totally become one with your enemy. So people used to unsubscribe all the time because I would be Putin and I would talk about we will take Mongolia. People would But what were we talking about? That what was that related to? Oh yeah. So how I feel as a GOP strategist is that, look, our candidate JD Vance is not popular with the people.
No.
And so we've got to, number one, we've got to build his popularity. That's what I'm thinking as a GOP strategist. We got to win him over. We got to win the people over before 2028. He's popular at Turning Point. We got to make him popular in all 50 states. That means we got to clean up his image. We got to get him on the talk shows. We got to get him on the circuit. We got to get him flirting with his publicist. He's got to get out there. This is the first thing I'm thinking as a GOP
maybe tone down the mascara.
Yes, he's going to talk about baking on The View and being sensitive.
Make him warm and cozy.
And those tough questions. Right, because they know they've got to prep him for 2028. But if Trump leaves early, which is another thing that I would be thinking as a GOP strategist, how can I get Trump out of there as soon as possible and get JD Vance in as soon as possible? Because the longer that Trump is doing damage to the White House, he is doing damage to JD Vance's reputation.
Oh, exactly. No, we're watching it. Even the clips that we've seen on the news the last 2 days, it's getting harder to hide the obvious with Trump. His dementia, his behavior, it's just out there. It's out there. They know he's got to go. And we've been still kind of getting like around February or so, this might happen.
Well, I was told it was done in December. And so I didn't really understand, well, what does that mean? But I'll go ahead and give the information. He's done in 5 months. So he's still there. So what is going on? We know that he became lame duck in December, and we know that the Republicans began to break with him. And so he has no ability to pass any laws until the Democrats come in. So in that sense, he is done.
Yeah.
And we also know that MAGA is in civil war. And so he has lost independence. That's done. He's underwater, and it's not likely to come back. So a large segment of his voters have left, and they are likely not to come back.
Right. And then on top of that, internationally, he has zero respect around the globe. Heather Cox Richardson's term, Trump is a wackadoodle. Everybody knows this. Every world leader knows this. Like we were saying about if he tries to take Greenland, NATO is going to swoop in. Like you said it best. If you don't get rid of him, we're going to take him out. We've got to remove this man.
Right. So the takeaway I get is that it's not sustainable. That's what I always get, is that it's not sustainable, and eventually he's removed. But he's highly limited right now. There isn't a lot he could do. He could do executive orders. His henchman, Steve Miller, might be interested in taking a look at his Akashic field. Steve Miller looks like he's in trouble because the person who's leading the way is Steve Miller.
Of course he is.
And Steve Miller...
Isn't he the architect behind much of this?
Yeah, I think that Steve Miller's on thin ice. I do.
Oh, I hope so. I just get that vibe that a number of these people are on thin ice. Kristi Noem, Hegseth, they're on their way out. It just feels that, right now there are already discussions of Kristi Noem being impeached. The Democrats are already trying to push that through.
Let's do that real fast. Is Noem going to be impeached? Let's do one or two cards on that. I think Hegseth will be removed because Trump blames Hegseth for a lot of the disasters.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm surprised. The first card that popped out here. I'm just going to take it straight to the pendulum. Will Kristi Noem be impeached? Was Kristi Noem going to be impeached?
My side, it looks pretty bad for Kristi Noem.
It does, because sometimes you hear me go, oh, because I'm surprised when a card pops out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Truth. All the truth is coming out. All the truth is coming out, and people are mindful of priorities, and that's when I went to the pendulum. It was like, she's out. But anyway, I'll let you.
Well, that's exactly it. That you have this power struggle happening and the hidden being reviewed. And then you have this Queen of Wands, which is her. But look at this. This is the thing that was telling for me, is she wound up with 10 of Swords as the final outcome. And that tells me that in the end, they always screw over the females and the guys stay out of jail, whether it's her or Ghislaine Maxwell or whoever. It's the bad boys. You're going to be the one holding the bag. And that's probably what's going to happen to her.
Oh, yeah. I think the final straw for her, forgive me, I don't want to interrupt you.
That was it.
Okay. I was going to say, I think the final straw was her atrocious behavior when she called the Renee Good a domestic terrorist. And, and made all these claims that she was trying to run the guy over with her car. When we've got video, the whole world has watched the video and sees the truth. But she goes out there and lies anyway, and then takes it further, calling her a domestic terrorist. I think everybody is so disgusted with this woman. It's like this is her undoing.
Yeah.
Not that they haven't been disgusted before, but this was really bad.
Yeah. So far, the DOJ has only released 1% of the Epstein files, which most is redacted, which is mostly redacted. Will an outside party release the rest of the unredacted files? What are you thinking about that?
I've always felt that ultimately that's what it was going to be. And remember, even months ago, I had this visual image. We were asked about the Epstein files release, and I said, I'm just getting this vision of black lines. Magic marker.
I remember that.
Editing. Yeah. Remember that? That was the vision I got. And so little has been released. I mean, there have been little nuggets that have been revealed anyway, but I think too many people in the world have access to this. I think King Charles had access to it. That's why he stripped his brother of all his royal titles and everything. That was an extraordinary move. So
I'm sure. Yeah.
There has to be horrific stuff in there. The fact that Mike Johnson shut down the government for 2 months trying to hide it. I mean, it's so obvious. So I think it's going to come out.
And I think it causes civil war in MAGA because there are people like Marjorie Taylor Greene that really began to have an ethical problem with it and walked out the door. Like so many women have been sexually abused themselves, so that there's a really good chance that, 1/3 of the women sitting in Congress have been victims of assault. So, and 1/5 of the guys, right? So we have an epidemic of child sexual abuse, and you would think there would be more sensitivity. But within 30 days, we have this movement over the files that leads to civil war in Congress. Look at that.
Whoa.
And a love offering is coming to us to bring peace to the nation. There's only one way to bring peace to the nation, and that's to remove the cause of the disruption, which means that Trump and his cronies need to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I mean, like nobody in their right mind is going to vote for these jokers in 2026. They've really harmed themselves. I mean, Iowa, I've heard there's that local races, everything. They're just going up in flames.
Of course. Of course. I mean, well, even going back 11, 12 months ago, when Republicans would have town hall meetings and everybody be there booing and jeering and F you, F you. I mean, right there, they were getting their signs that they were in a lot of trouble just at the beginning of this administration.
Hmm.
Well,
The mullahs loaded Iran's gold bars into Russian cargo planes and fled 2 days ago. What are you thinking about that? Are you surprised?
no, because gold is always what's, it's considered a safe haven whenever the economy is crashing. People buy more gold. They put their gold away. So that would make sense.
Well, gold is, I believe, not taxed in Russia. There's, people in
I'm not
Iran.
sure.
I know a lot of people that smuggled their gold out. They were bringing gold in, gold bars through to Iran, to Azerbaijan, and then smuggling it out. You know how they smuggled it out is in their furniture.
Well, I know. Well, I've heard a story.
The beds.
Mhm.
They put all the gold inside and screwed the thing back in and then shipped the bed.
Well, I understand when people were fleeing during the Holocaust, people would sew coins and jewelry into the hems of their skirts and into their drapery, and even curtain rods. You can take the ends off of those and put a lot of stuff in there and just put the cap back on. All kinds of things.
Yeah, so that's what people were doing, and that's evidently what's going on right now in Iran. So where are you feeling they're going to? Russia?
That's a good question. Would it make sense to go to Russia?
Well, yeah, because that's their only ally. Who's either that
That's
or
right. That's
Pakistan.
right.
They could go to Pakistan.
Yeah, that'd be worse. You're right, but it's their only ally. But whoa, it's just trouble.
Maybe China, but what? They don't want to go to China.
No, but you're right.
They'd be under house arrest in China. China would take them in and then watch them like a hawk. They'd probably be on some compound, not able to do anything.
Yeah.
Russia's not going to let them do whatever. I mean, China's not going to let them do whatever they like in a free China. I mean, they would probably be in some controlled area in Shanghai and they'd be monitored, or Beijing.
Yeah. I just looked at this comment here. Is this a breaking news story? Oh my God. ICE launches grenades at Minneapolis protesters, live news coverage. So that must be, I'm assuming that's happening right now. My God. Oh my God. That's what I was sensing when we were doing that reading on Waltz, what he was going to do about the National Guard. And I got that card about risk, there's such a balance here. Is this going to make it worse? Because I was getting this vibe. It was almost like it could set off like a war there in the city. My God, throwing grenades at protesters. Dear God.
Let's take a look. Let's see how this is going to end. I don't think it's going to end well for Trump and his henchmen. Tyrants always fall. Listen, remember what Gandhi said. He was right. They always fall.
Whimsy, I've been reading a lot of channeled messages over the last few months, and like the one from Eleanor Roosevelt, she basically said that. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis said that. The universe will not support this. I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt said dictators always fall because they operate on the idea that they're better than everyone. They're more powerful than everyone. And the universe will never support that. And she said, that's why dictators always fall. Anyway, I didn't mean to go.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what are we asking specifically, Whimsy, please?
When's this going to stop? Are you feeling, how's this going to stop? How's it going to end?
How's this going to end?
That is insane. They actually launched grenades at people, real grenades or grenade-like.
Yeah, I'm just going by this comment here. I mean, I'm assuming this is something that just broke out. I don't think they were talking about this even 2 hours ago in the news. Well, this is kind of strange because what I'm getting here is a positive outcome ultimately, because this obviously involves community. Boy, could that card ever be more prophetic. I got community card, but I got new beginnings. Like this is like all this ugliness is going to be the final undoing of all of this. Like it's going to be positive ultimately, but as far as right now, it's horrific. So maybe I should have pulled more cards, but that's what jumped out. And maybe
Yeah,
you can elaborate further.
Yeah, I'm not getting any news about grenades being launched.
Yeah.
I haven't found any corroborating information about that.
Yeah.
But
maybe our viewers can.
But what they are saying, what there is a big outbreak because they've been arresting Americans, ICE, which is outside their jurisdiction, and so you do have this explosion of responses to the fact that a large number of people that have been brought in were technically either legal residents or U.S. citizens, and so that's been. I mean, this is the thing that I think is going to take Trump out because
I think that's what I'm getting from New Beginnings. It's horrific, but maybe it's the necessary evil to finally take this horrible, evil administration out, and it just expose ICE and everything. But Joel was just saying it was tear gas. So I guess
tear gas canisters. That makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm getting community, and I'm getting. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Whimsy. I'm so sorry, but one of the other cards I got was life force, and I take this to mean the power of the people. The people are saying, "God damn it, we're not taking this. We're fighting." It's like life force, hence leading to new beginnings. But anyway, Whimsy, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, I think that was great, and I agree with you. I think that it's not sustainable, and yeah. Here's a question from Joel because Putin has been missing, and they're beginning to suspect that was old film footage of his lighting candles at the Great Mass. Was that in Petersburg or Moscow?
I don't know.
I think that was supposed to be in was that in Moscow?
Do you think it even could have been AI manipulated footage?
No, but they looked at the film footage and they have a great mass on Easter and also on Christmas Eve, and supposedly, but those old pictures of him lighting candles, but I just don't. But they're saying that it wasn't from this Christmas. But when is Orthodox Christmas? It was January 12th, or when was it? Orthodox Christmas.
I think sometime in January. Maybe you can look up
Eastern Orthodox.
Yeah.
Christmas would have been January 7th. Yeah. So the pictures supposedly that were released on January 7th of him lighting the candles at the Great Mass probably were from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. So what are you thinking? Do you think he's dead? Do you think he's in hiding? What do you think?
The vibe I'm getting, just what I'm feeling is he's in hiding, but he's in a very bad place where he might even wish he was dead, but I'm not getting he's physically dead, but maybe death of his leadership, death of any of his powers. He's in hiding right now. I'm getting more of that than him being actually dead. And also the fact that you and I have even been getting all these readings about how he's going to end up in Siberia in his palace. He's hiding. We haven't been getting that he's dead. Have you?
Zelensky said build an oasis zone between, if you want the Donbass, if you want this area, here's what we do. You pull back, we pull back, we build a barrier, we create an oasis zone, we both work there, and it's overseen by the Americans. There, problem solved. What was exciting was that he was talking about this concept of oasis zones, like what they're trying to do between Gaza and Israel to create a zone. So I was excited to hear that. But it made so much sense to do that. And Putin just walked away. And the point that Zelensky was making is that Zelensky was saying, I'm looking for real workable solutions like an oasis. I'm looking for something that's really going to work. And even if it means, yes, we would have to be sharing Donbass over U.S. oversight. And he said, it doesn't surprise me that Putin walked away. That was a very generous offer, I think, that the Ukrainian president made. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I'm in agreement with you. Very gracious. If anything, that's the word that popped in my head. It was gracious of Zelensky.
Yeah, so I think it's just further proof that Putin doesn't want peace.
No, he's out for his own interests. Yeah.
All right, we'll do one more and then we'll finish. Putin will not. You want to go ahead? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know if I was reading or you. Okay, Putin will not accept Ukraine's statehood. He wants all of Ukraine. Oh, I agree with that. He wants Ukraine. That's not saying he's going to get it, but he wants it. Just like Trump wants a lot of things he's not going to get either. Both men are delusional. What
Right.
are your feelings, Whimsy?
I felt as a remote viewer that there were strategic reasons why we could never allow him to take control of that area, Putin to take control of the area, because it would displace the trade routes.
Yeah. As we've
And
said, that's what he's ultimately for, trade routes.
right. So if you're looking at trade routes through Eastern Europe, Western Europe, all of that, they've been going on for a long time, and most wars are fought over that. So, I mean, what I started, again, this was something that was just an energy thing, where I would go into the energy and I was looking for movement. And when I found the movement, I found trade. So when I found the trade, I found that the entire war was about trade.
Yeah.
And because it's about trade, everything will be decided. And you can see Kyiv over there, right? So that is a huge trade area. And the reason why is because he wants control over those ports.
Yes.
You can see a strategic relationship with the rest of Europe. So I didn't feel as a remote viewer that there was a possibility. I'm sorry if the view is not that great. Let me see if I can make it bigger. But it didn't seem like it was a possibility that it could be anything other than the fact that they would have to do everything in their power to make sure that he never took the Donbass. He never took that area, because ultimately it was about not wanting him to take control of the trade routes.
Yeah.
So that was the significance of Kyiv, and also Odessa, Odessa, which was built by Catherine the Great. And so what you have to understand is, from his perspective, they were taking back what they felt that belonged to them. They felt that the icons that were in the Ukrainian church belonged to them, the sacred texts that they had left that were, from 1200 AD. So they went and they took all that stuff and they brought it back to the steps of St. Petersburg. But they also want to take back that trade route, this anger and resentment because their country collapsed after the fall of the USSR. And so you can just see, when you look at those trade routes, think about Constantinople, the fall of Turkey, and the fact that we then saw the fall of the Soviet Union. It feels to the other side as if the West is taking over.
Yeah.
I
was just going to say earlier, I also feel that Putin, the only way you could ever get him to negotiate anything is if he feels that's the last resort. There's just no other way. Otherwise, he's just going to do what he damn well pleases.
Yeah.
And of course, that's also why Trump seems to want, one of the reasons he wants Greenland so much, for the trade routes there, go over the North Pole.
Yeah, I really learned a lot, just being a remote viewer and just doing what's called a scanning the grid, where I'll look at just energy. I look for emotions because I'm an empath. So people are really upset and they're fighting over something. Ooh, I'm feeling energy over here. What's this about? And then I'll drop down and whoa, and then I'll start to feel. That was how I knew that there were going to be riots in it looked like it was Marseille. I'm like, this isn't Paris. Ooh, they're screaming and yelling, and then there were riots. You can actually do that. You can flow. This is an advanced technique. We teach it toward the end of the quarter in HCRV, but you just imagine that you've got your cord and you're connected to your body, and then you just imagine yourself floating over and see how you feel. Ooh, I'm feeling the tension. And then you really try to put yourself in the shoes of the people that are protesting. Oh, that's what they're protesting about. So it's interesting. And then when you go over the grid, what I saw was that all the fighting was, this is my road, this is my route, and the whole entire wars. And it's a perspective that I think a lot of people just never think about, that all of it is about my trade, your trade, my trade. It's fascinating.
Money.
Yeah. Well, did you have a fun time today, Chuck?
I had a fun time.
On that happy note.
Possible. Well, as much as possible, we're considering the gravity of so many of these stories. And You know, I said to you at the beginning of the show before we went on air, I just said, you know, it's like to prepare for this, you know, just to go through all the news and everything, it's getting so much more intense than even a week or two ago or 2 weeks ago. It's just building and building and building. Maybe this is part of the fire horse energy.
Mhm. One question quickly before we close today, and just we don't have to throw bits, but how are you feeling about the fact that Smith is going to have to give a testimony again before Congress?
Oh, no, that's
that?
quite. I thought that was very intriguing because he's given a deposition. You remember the Republicans released it on New Year's Eve to try to keep it under the radar,
Right.
but it was still damning anyway for Trump. It's my understanding the Republicans are the ones who have asked him to come back. So that's a sign further of Trump's downfall and
Yeah.
loss of support of the Republicans. That's what I took from it immediately when I heard about it. But I think we've known Jack Smith has horrific things to tell about Trump, you know, about,
Right.
January 6th.
Right, and I think it gives the GOP an out.
Yes, it
Well,
does.
we didn't know until we didn't hit. Now we know. Yeah,
Mhm.
you always knew. You were there at the Capitol. You
God,
saw what happened. Give me a
clutch your
break.
pearls in shock. But you're right. It'll give them an out. But that's the thing that really intrigued me when it was a Republican that asked him back.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Chuck, if people want to get a reading from you, how do they contact you?
Okay, it is dransfieldchuck@gmail.com. I love reading for you. I love talking to you. I love doing artwork for you. I can channel from my subjects for you if you want to get messages and a piece of art. Also, I do my channel, Chuck's Captivating Chronicles, and a little chat thing, Chuck's Captivating Chat, on Mondays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Wow, very, very cool. And of course, if you'd like to have a reading or see me for a medical consult, I do telemedicine and phone consultations. You can find all that information below, or you can just Google me, Dr. Whimsy Anderson, and you can find me on Booksy. All right, that's it for both of us. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. We'll see you next time, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.